A Tampa Bay homeowner hires a contractor to replace their roof after a storm. The contractor shows up with a crew, no permit is pulled, and the job is done in 2 days. 3 weeks later, one of the workers files a claim, a fall injury that occurred on that roof. The contractor carries no workers' compensation insurance. Under Florida Statute 440.10, the homeowner is the statutory employer. The liability lands on the property owner. The homeowner's insurance policy excludes it. Florida Statute 440 governs workers' compensation in Florida, and the construction industry operates under the most demanding WC requirements in the state. Any construction business with one or more employees, including part-time and subcontracted workers, is required to carry workers' compensation coverage. The requirement is not based on the size of the company or the duration of the job. It is based on the presence of a worker performing construction work. A 2-person roofing crew working on your home for 2 days is a covered employment situation under Florida law. The Statutory Employer Doctrine is the provision that transfers liability to the homeowner. Florida Statute 440.10 states that when a contractor who is required to carry workers' compensation fails to do so, the responsibility for compensation to an injured worker travels up the contracting chain to the next party who does have coverage, or to the property owner if no coverage exists in the chain. A homeowner who hires an uninsured contractor is not a bystander to the injury. They become the party the law assigns responsibility to. Homeowners' insurance policies typically exclude workers' compensation liability. This is not a covered claim under a standard HO3 policy. The exposure is personal. Florida Statute 489 governs contractor licensing in Florida and sets the insurance requirements that licensed contractors must maintain. A licensed general contractor, building contractor, or residential contractor in Florida is required to carry both general liability insurance and workers' compensation coverage as conditions of licensure. The Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation verifies these coverages at license renewal and can suspend a license for lapses. When a licensed contractor pulls a building permit in Hillsborough County or the city of Tampa, their license number is recorded and verified against the DBPR database, which confirms that their WC coverage is current. This is the permit's role that most homeowners never consider. A building permit is not just a structural and code compliance document, it is a contractor verification mechanism. When a permit is pulled, the building department confirms that the contractor is licensed and that their workers' compensation coverage is active. An unlicensed contractor cannot pull a permit. A licensed contractor with lapsed WC cannot pull a permit. The permit process filters out the contractors who represent the highest liability exposure to the homeowner before the first worker sets foot on the property. Workers' compensation exemptions create the most common point of confusion. In Florida, sole proprietors and corporate officers in the construction industry can file for a WC exemption with the Department of Financial Services, meaning they personally opt out of WC coverage for themselves. The exemption is legal and common for small owner-operator businesses. What is not legal? A contractor who holds a WC exemption and brings additional workers to a job. The exemption covers only the exempt individual. Any other person working on that job must be covered by WC. A one-man contractor with an exemption who shows up with 2 helpers has 2 uninsured workers on your property. Verifying a contractor in Tampa Bay requires 3 steps. First, confirm the contractor's license is active on the DBPR website at myfloridalicense.com. Search by name or license number and confirm the license type, status, and expiration date. Second, request a certificate of insurance, a COI, showing both general liability and workers' compensation coverage with your property listed as a certificate holder. The COI must show current coverage dates. Third, verify that the contractor pulls a building permit for work that requires one. A contractor who refuses to pull a permit for permitted work is a contractor who cannot pass the permit verification process. Tampa Bay's post-storm contracting environment amplifies this risk. After a hurricane or major wind event, Unlicensed and uninsured contractors move into the market from out of state and out of county, offering fast turnaround on damage repairs. They carry no WC, hold no Florida license, and cannot pull permits. They target homeowners under time pressure who want the damage fixed before the next storm. The Statutory Employer Doctrine does not distinguish between a storm chaser contractor and any other.
Florida law requires the contractor to carry the coverage. When the contractor doesn't, the law requires someone to. In Florida, that someone is you. Before any contractor sets foot on your Tampa Bay property, verify the license, verify the certificate of insurance, and pull the permit. Those 3 steps are the only barrier between your home improvement project and a workers' compensation claim with your name on it. If you're hiring a contractor in Tampa Bay, share this before you sign anything. Subscribe for more Florida Building Code explained in plain language.